we doing? So it's another day. I'm back down at the unit looking at the Primera. It's time to start taking the engine and stuff out now. I've already done a little bit on this. Spent it the other day, I spent like a full day trying to get the engine out. I've drained all the fluids out of it. Basically just started taking off everything that I can. So the engine bay don't look too different, but yeah, like I said, I spent a lot of time doing something. So the wiring loom's like somewhat loose. There's a couple of plugs I can't get to under the inlet. I've tried to get in from underneath, but I can't manage. So I'll have another look at that. I suppose the main thing is get the exhaust off, probably make it easier. And yeah, just slowly, methodically undo stuff until I feel like it's going to come out. Obviously, I take the wheels off. I need to get the drive shafts out of the gearbox. It doesn't look like much has gone, but there's a lot inside the car that I took out. Pipes and airbox and stuff. I also had to take the clocks out and a lot of the dash and drop the steering column to get the speedo cable out, because the speedo cable broke inside the gearbox, this thing. So that threads onto something which is there. I don't know whether you can see that, but it basically snapped. The thread snapped in the gearbox there. That's basically shafted. Well, apparently, according to Josh, that's quite a common thing. So let's just crack on. I forgot to point out the bits of rust that I actually found in the last video. So I'll go around the car now and show you the main points that are concerning. So both A-pillars have these bits where the wiring loom comes out that's a bit scabby. This side's not as bad, but it's not great. Inside the wheel arches at the top, I think I did show you this last time, there's bits at the top there. Again, this side's the better side. If I go around here, you can see the A-pillar is much worse on this side. And yeah, we've got a bit at the bottom of the inner wheel arch, and the top is very scabby. Luckily, all this upper arm unbolts, so I'll be able to unbolt that and give everything a good wire wool session. Hopefully it should reveal a bit more, or hopefully not, should I say. There are some bits on the top of the wing that you can't see right now because it's covered by the loom. Both rear sills have been repaired at some point, but I mean, look at the state of that. It's not exactly the best job in the world, is it? I'm pretty sure it's all still solid, but it'll need redoing. The back, we've got some bits around the window, bit of bubbling rust there. But there's definitely been some water coming in. I think it's been running down there, getting in through there, because that bit's scabby. And then inside, I've obviously gone over that with a wire wheel already. And you could see where it was running down to the bottom there. There is actually a hole there along the bottom where that tub meets the floor of the boot. Inside this pocket, there's a big hole, and that clearly at one point was full of water, because you can sort of see where it's just orange. Again, all around the opening for the boot where the weather seal's been, there's bits where it's just not been doing its job. Again, on this side, there's a hole there. Some scabby bits around the window, and again across the top. It's not too bad. Underneath, I think I showed you this in the last video as well. I'll show you again if I can. That chassis leg, that's got a big hole in it. Again on this side, bottom of the sill's already been done. Inside looks okay. There's no holes in any of the floor that I can see. And in the footwells, it looks all right. It does look kind of orange on video, but it's not rust. It's like sound deadening, I think. It's like fairy stuff. Probably asbestos, to be honest. It does say. So that's a bit ominous, but yeah. Now, I've got no welding experience whatsoever, so I'm going to need help probably from Josh on this to teach me how to weld. Hopefully some of the simpler bits like the A-pillars I can get involved with and fix. and see. I mean, none of it's on show really, so apart from around the windows, but they're not major. Most of it's like hidden, so it doesn't need to look pretty, it just needs to be good and sound. So it's going to be a massive learning curve, but I knew that going into this. That's why I've torn the car down to this level. I'm not looking for this to be a perfect like restoration or anything. I want to learn how to weld. I want to use this to learn how to weld. I don't think it's that bad that it can't be saved, but again, I don't really know what I'm doing. So it's all just trying to suss it out, figure it out, and go from there really. But yeah, the plan for this car for me is for it to get a K24. I think it'll be NA initially anyway. It'll be NA. And it's not going to be an all-out track car. I just want it to be a comfortable sort of fast road car, sort of maybe a like club sport spec, half cage at the back, full interior at the front. Might even put the rear seats back in if I can with the rear cage, and just some nice bits. There's already a couple of rare bits that I've bought for it, so we'll see. I mean, parts for these cars are quite hard to find. It's not impossible. You can buy coilovers and hard race arms for it and things like that. Yeah, let's crack on. I think I'm going to look at getting the exhaust off first, give myself a bit more room, and then just go from there. Right, let's see if we can get this manifold out. Heavy. Seem to have acquired some friends in the unit. There they are. Can see one over there. Oh dear. I'll give you a bit of an update while I'm here. Oh, bless him. They're stuck. I can't help you out because I can't open the big door. Right, I'll give you a bit of an update. I've got most of the harness as much as I can out and on top of the engine. Now I'm just trying to pull out the drive shaft from the front, from the driver's side front, but I'm struggling. I've undone that top suspension arm, but it's just dropped down and it's solid. It won't pull out. So I need to work out what's going on there. I've unattached the steering arm, the track rod end, and the sway bar, anti-rail bar drop link. So I just need to work out how to get some. I'm hoping that I can pull this out, which will give me enough room to get the drive shaft out of there. Right, I'm so close to getting this drive shaft out, but it's just not got enough room, tiny little bit. I'm going to try with the pry bars and see if that helps me out, but it's not going well. I have to drop the strut, see if that helps me, gives me any more room. Right, I've dropped the top of the strut now and do the strut bolts. So let's give it another go. Pray for me. Right, surely now, you're gonna give me enough. Yes, got it. Probably didn't need to be that difficult, but there we are. Right, now I've got to see if I can get it out from the gearbox side. Right, time to see if I can pull this drive shaft out of the gearbox. Fingers crossed it comes out without a fight. Right, time to start tackling this other side now and try and get this drive shaft out. Right, I've tried a lot of stuff to get this drive shaft out. Can I get it out? I'm going to keep trying, obviously, but it's pissing me off. Right, finally, after about 45 minutes, maybe a bit longer, maybe nearly an hour, I got it out. I tried first hammering the outer, obviously, and that just didn't work, that flew off. So then I just got a bit fucking aggressive with the, I hammered it on the circlip thing there and that pushed it out, but fucking hell, that was properly in there. So that's both drive shafts out now. So I think, apart from power steering lines, which is the last thing, I think that's it, and then we're on to engine mounts. Okay, that's the power steering fluid emptying. Naturally, I made a right mess, it went everywhere. That, I think, is the last thing that I need to undo. It's just engine mounts now. But yeah, I'm gonna call it a night now. It's just the engine mounts to undo and the gearbox mount and this hench, like support beam that goes under the engine. But I'm not going to do that until I got the engine crane out, which is over there in the corner. So I'll do that another day, maybe at the weekend, and we should be able to get it out. I don't know if I'll have to move the car potentially out of its current home. Let me step back so you can see where it is. So yeah, I might have to take it out of there and move it where the S2000 is and get the engine out that way. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. So I'll call it a night here and I'll catch up with you next time I'm up. Back down at the unit, it's another weekend. Time to take the engine out of the Primera. Everything's unbolted, as you saw earlier in the video. I just need to, the plan is to drop the car, the front end as low as possible on the jacks, and then we'll undo this cross member thing, beam, that supports everything. Leave the side mounts on, and then we're going to use this engine hoist.
We'll put it on the dolly, that one.
Yeah, put the engine, drop the engine onto the dolly, and then get that engine hoist and hopefully lift the front of the car up. Hopefully it's high enough that we can drag the engine out from underneath, but we don't know if...
You could do it with Hondas, it's your way.
Yeah, we're just going to put the wheels back on and drag the front end of the car out, so we've got... Yeah. So yeah, we're going to drag the front end out. Hopefully that'll give us a bit more clearance and we should. And we'll see how it goes.
Big space for K20s.
Yeah.
Or K24.
K24. Okay, so I've undone the bottom brace now. So the engine and gearbox, that's undone. It's undone at the subframe. Engine and gearbox are just hanging by this mount and this mount. So I'm going to get the dolly underneath, strap up the crash bar, lower the car and see if we can get her out. And there we have it, one SR20 removed from a P10 Primera. It came out pretty easy, to be honest. You might have seen from the time lapse that I was doing a lot of backwards and forwards, but that's the first time I've ever taken an engine out, so I didn't really know what I was doing. I was just going for it, but I mean, it's not exactly difficult, is it? But yeah, pretty cool. So that's that out. Now we just need to start cleaning this up, taking all the rest of it out. And then it's moving on to probably the rust. Once Pete's there, Jen's off the ramp. He's been doing some more wire wheeling underneath in the tunnel on the chassis legs. And everything looks good. He hasn't found anything. He just needs to do the rest of the floor, as you can see. But we think the floor, apart from the bits that have already been done, we think that the floor is okay. So once that's done, maybe in a couple of weeks' time, Pete can buy some paint and stuff, but I'll be able to get on the ramp eventually. In the meantime, I can start doing as much as I can in my little section, my little corner of the unit. Now I just need to find somewhere to put this.